This is the fourth lecture in your subject, that is reverse engineering and rapid prototyping. And today we are going to talk about design for additive manufacturing, or design for 3D printing, or design for RP technology. Okay, so the name would remain the same, and I will be using the term design for additive manufacturing. Okay, so today in the previous lecture I have demonstrated the basic steps in your additive manufacturing process, and in these steps uh, you would have been able to visualize how this technology is used for producing parts uh, by layer deposition of material. Okay. So any doubt, any query you are having before starting today's lecture, you can stop me. Otherwise, I will keep continue on today's topic, that is design for additive manufacturing. Okay. So till now, based on the discussion which has been already taken place, you are aware that additive manufacturing has evolved from a rapid prototyping to a production technology. Uh, it is used to produce end use parts for medical, for aerospace industry, for automotive industry, as well as other industrial application. Metal additive manufacturing processes, talking about metal additive manufacturing processes, these processes are relatively slow. These require complex preparation and complex post processing treatment also. And because of this complex uh, that the process is slow, process is require complex preparation as well as post processing treatment. The this becomes expensive. The cost per product in the case of metal additive manufacturing becomes high. Okay, or the cost of product increases. Uh, Talking about role of design for additive manufacturing, this in short is it's abbreviated as TFAM. It is for optimizing the product design to deal with the complexity of your production processes. So the group the group which is from the people who are from production engineering group, they might have heard the name, that is design for manufacturing, DFM concept. They are already aware. In the DFM, we optimize the design part for manufacturing feasibility and bring down the cost. Okay. So this under design for manufacturing under DFM, we apply optimization methods for manufacturing feasibility as well as to reduce the cost per unit cost of your product. Then the people from design group, they might be aware about the design for assembly. So the basic purpose of design for assembly is to design the product in such a way that the overall cost of your product is reduced by making the assembly process easy. So the single, instead of producing uh, single component, one piece component, there are sub assemblies and they are assembled together in such a way that in the overall designing of the product, or overall production of the product, the per unit cost is reduced. Talking about the role of design for additive manufacturing, in design for additive manufacturing, the concept is to design the part consolidation, which may be process specific, maybe purpose specific. Uh, okay, So there is some framework, some basic component of which are taken into consideration while considering the design for additive manufacturing framework, that is the TFAM. Okay, so the first step is suitability, that is suitability of additive manufacturing process based on the your requirement. Okay, what kind of product you want to produce, which kind of uh, what will be which kind of product, whether the product can be produced using needs to be produced by additive manufacturing or not, because maybe if you are you want to produce, because this process is complex as well as costly. So we need to decide whether we need to go specifically for additive manufacturing, or this can be produced by existing processes, manufacturing processes. Then the second term is about uh, suitability of your material, selection of process, as well as selection of your machine. Okay, so then the third component is your initial cost estimation. You need to decide, as I told you even in previous lecture, that if you put your material cost as well as material density in your slice in your 3D printing software, you can estimate your initial cost per product. Okay. Then there are consideration related to your build job consideration. Then there are some process specific constraint. Then there are some post processing constraint. Then the further the product which after post processing, it goes for quality check. There is inspection and some kind of certification if required. Uh, these are the major seven component when we are talking about for design for additive manufacturing framework or DFAM framework. So I want to finish this topic in one lecture. So I will be moving in a fast forward mode. I will expect that you go through this PPT later on as soon as when I circulate it to all of you. Okay. So in today's discussion, I will be talking specifically about design for additive manufacturing in the case of your in the case of technology which is dealing with printing of metals. Okay, so for say the case of laser melted part, we are talking about SLS process. Okay, so these are the major uh, uh, major issues or major component in DFAM uh, for metal additive manufacturing process, that is the feature size, surface finish, overhanging features, supports, as well as component distortion. Okay, so coming to the first component, that is the feature size. Okay, so in machining, uh, the minimum feature size is governed by cutting tool size, but in additive manufacturing, the minimum feature size, minimum feature size or minimum possible size of solid feature is limited by the laser spot diameter. Obviously, in the case of metal, metal additive manufacturing, we are using laser. So your laser spot diameter is the major plays the major role in deciding your minimum possible feature size in the case of metal additive manufacturing process. So the spot heat powder and your spot heat, your laser spot. What does it do? What does what is the rule of this laser spot diameter? Uh, as soon as it strike on your powder, the powder gets heated and it creates a weld pool. Okay. Later on, this uh, molten metal pool is cools down to form a solid dance. Okay, so your powder, because your laser is striking on your powder, it create a weld pool, and later this melted weld pool, this is in the form of molten metal. It cools down and it form a dense solid. So this dense solid, again, this depends on the spot diameter of your laser spot diameter. The spot size and laser power determines minimum feature size, as I have told. Okay, so the most popular technology when we are talking about uh, metal additive manufacturing process is the in this is sintering. Okay, so in sintering, what happens? Sintering of neighboring powder means that minimum feature size is larger than your laser spot size, and it is dependent on the thermal conductivity of powder and the energy imparted on the on on your powder. Okay, so let us take an example which that with a laser of spot diameter 70 micrometer, we can have lattice strut up to 140 micrometer. Wall thickness may be up to 150 to 200 micrometer. So if you can imagine that as soon as your spot diameter of your laser is increasing, your minimum feature size will also increase. Okay. Uh, First was in the case of your metal additive manufacturing process, your first issue was feature size. Then we have second, issue or second component which needs to be taken into consideration in the case of your additive manufacturing process, whether you are talking about polymer based or I mean to say metal additive manufacturing process or non-metal additive manufacturing process. Okay, so in previous lecture I talked about supports, that the structure which we were printing, whether it needs to be printed with support or without support, and why this support is needed. So let us try to understand. So this is a component. This in particular white shape you can see. This is your components which needs to be produced. This your green, yellow. Oh, forget about this green area, yellow area, and red area. So here you can see this is a component which needs to be printed using your any additive manufacturing process, whether it is metal or non-metal. Okay, or polymers. Okay, so what we will do, we will create the CAD model, and we will after creation of CAD model, this CAD model is transferred or is converted into STL file. Okay, so as soon as this STL file is generated, what is the next step? That you need to slice, you need to import this STL file into your additive manufacturing software. This may be you may import this file in a slicer, because the first mechanism will be to slice your this CAD component in layers. Okay, so try to see this how this slicing will take place. If you slice this component, you will see that at initially the angle which your component is quite vertical. Okay, so if you take this overhanging portion, the your I mean to say uh, your in your overhanging portion, your angle will be from less than 45. Okay, so try to see this initially this angle is less than 45, but as soon as you move ahead, you will see that your overhang angle is increasing, and for for overhanging angle more than 45 degree, for up to 45 degree it is fine, you can print layers. Like when I was creating slice of the component which I took yesterday, when I clicked on print with support structure, there was no support structure actually. Okay, because there was no overhanging portion in the example which I took yesterday. But you may find, you may reach at certain situation where your overhanging portion is greater than 45. So wherever your overhanging portion is greater than 45, then you need to take consideration of overhanging portion. So the very first thing which you can do in the overhanging portion, that okay, so that I will come in the next slide. Okay, so the green portion is, it is showing that your overhanging angle is less than 45. This can be built properly. This is fine. But for yellow portion, your overhanging portion is nearly equal to 45. So this may have, as soon as your angle is approaching up to 45, obviously your build surface will have poor surface finish, and when your overhanging portion is greater than 45, okay, so in that case you will find it difficulty that your surface is starts overhanging. It may slightly bend in downward direction, or it may not get printed accurately. Okay, so these kinds of issues will be there if the overhang angle is greater than 45 degree. Okay, then uh, talking about the issue because of overhang. Just a second. Okay, so first feature was your feature size, then surface finish, then overhanging feature. Okay, so in overhanging feature, we could see when this kind of issues will come, when your overhang angle is greater than 45 to the vertical. Okay, angle from angle to the your vertical axis. Okay, so move ahead. Okay, so let us talk about lateral holes in the case of your 3D printed component. Suppose you are having, you are printing a component which is having some feature like say lateral hole. So try to see here. This is the first figure where you can see your you are having a very small hole, lateral hole, which is having diameter less than 10 millimeter. Okay, so the component which are having small holes, the part may not distort, or part may get printed accurately as compared to the component which are having large hole. Okay, see the your second figure. In second figure, what you can see, there is a large lateral hole, and for this kind of lateral hole, you cannot print your component without using your support structure. So in this case, you need to prepare, you need to slice your you need to prepare slice data with support structure. If you choose print without support structure, what will happen? Your print your component may not get printed appropriately, or it may collapse any time during the printing of your component. Okay, once your because your product cost is very high, and if your product is collapsing during the printing process, then it will be a waste for you. Then how you can modify, what kind of modification you need to do in your design for printing this kind of lateral hole. Okay, so the first way out is that you provide support structure, or you modify your design in such a way that the issue of overhang portion is taken care automatically. Okay, so here you can see this particular feature, round shape. Either you can print by using support structure, or you may change the shape of your feature, that is the lateral hole. And in this particular case, the lateral hole has been modified into teardrop shape. Okay, so in this case also, what is happening, your we have reduced your overhanging angle in this particular area, and later on, by any secondary process, we can create the round hole by drilling or by any other machining process. Okay, so I hope you are able to see, you are able to visualize the role of your supports, or your issue because of overhanging in the case of additive manufacturing process. Okay, so then next one is, because your support structure is also sometimes made of the same material, or maybe in some cases this may be another secondary material which is used for providing support. But anyhow, this support material is going to waste, so we need to minimize the support. We need to orient the component in such a way that there is a very less requirement of requirement for support. That is, the ultimate aim is to minimize your support which is required during printing. Okay, so the overhang can be built using supports. Support have to be removed after your build is completed. So the because this will also not only increase your cost, but also the post processing requirement, post processing applications, or it require further post processing in order to remove your support. So you can you can reorient your part in such a way that your overhang angle, or overall overhang angle, are reduced, or they are less than 45 in your whole whole component which needs to be printed. Okay, so here you can see, if you this is a component in which you can see there are some support structure, interior support structure. So removing these interior support structure will be quite difficult. Okay, so how to minimize your support which is needed in the case of additive manufacturing? You can reorient. Okay, initially you required support in this total bore length. You needed support structure for this portion, but if you reorient this part like this, here you can see since the overhang angle in this total length is decreased, so no support will be needed in this length or over the length of this hole, but only support will be needed at the base of your printing base of your this particular component. Okay, so only minimum support will be required, and very less material will be wasted as a support material. Okay, so this is how we need to take care of the support which is getting printed in the case of your metal additive or any kind of additive manufacturing process. Then the next issue is about residual stresses, because your additive manufacturing is a welding process. Although the spot size is very small and energy density is high, the stresses can build up in thick cross section or where cross section varies in thickness. Okay, so what happens in the case of because of residual stresses, the stresses tries to break through the edges of the build part and causes warping. Okay, you can visualize here. If your because of your high residual stresses, there are issue. Your part may get distorted. It is like in this figure you can see it has been separated. The support, the part has get separated from support due to high residual stresses. Okay, so these are the supports which were printed, but due to residual stresses, it got shrunk, and it has been separated from the support structure. So in order to avoid part distortion due to residual stresses, you need to avoid thick part section. Thick part section you need to avoid, and thin part thin part and consistent section can be printed accurately in the case of your metal additive manufacturing processes. Okay, then use of thicker plate where stress is likely to be high, you may use it. Okay, so let us now move to the brief discussion, that is we could cover main things in the case of main component in the case of your metal additive manufacturing process which needs to be taken care. Okay, so like we have discussed feature size, we have discussed surface finish, we have discussed overhanging features, how and how we can minimize your support material which is getting wasted because of the support requirement. Then how to avoid part distortion due to residual stresses. Okay, now after this in today's discussion I have taken two case studies. We, as I told, that we are not having metal 3D printer, so I have taken these two case studies from one of the companies, that is Renishaw, which is a leading company working in the area of metal additive manufacturing process. Okay, so let us try to understand how this evolution, design evolution takes place, how a designer needs to think when he is going for additive manufacturing. So there are two ways that the first step is adoption. You are having some component which you are producing your existing processes, but you want to adopt additive manufacturing process for producing this particular component. So what you do, you redevelop your component, or you need to modify the existing product and design in such a way that it suits the design constraint imposed by additive manufacturing. Okay, so these requirement may be specific to your additive manufacturing is specific. The existing product design specification and system level design reduces your available design space. So we will be discussing about these two things in next uh, case study. How what is the role of these two items? Then talking about design for additive manufacturing. So when we go for specifically for we design the component, or we want to produce the component by taking consideration the design rule which we discussed previously. So in that case, you need to rethink again, and you need to explore the best possible combinations out of the available constraint, so that you are able to print the component, or you are able to produce the component in the most effective manner. Okay, so let us move ahead. Let me show you the a case study. Okay, so this is case study number 1. I will be discussing 2. I have around 20 minutes more, so I will take 10 minutes for discussion on both the case studies. Okay, so I think those students who have seen a hydraulic power pack, they might have seen that there are some parts mounted in your hydraulic pack. Okay, so there is a hydraulic manifold where you can see that that hydraulic manifold for a circuit operating at pressure. This I am taking an example from one particular company, that is Renisho. So work done by them. Okay. So hydraulic. This is a hydraulic manifold used for circuit operating at pressure in the order of 200 to 500 bar. This has limitation of these components needs not to be very heavy, because these will be mounted on your hydraulic power pack, and if these are very heavy, then if the weight of these component is too high, then obviously this will increase the total weight of your hydraulic power pack. The simple circuit consisting of in this we have two check valve, a solenoidal valve, and their associate outlet, that is male insert type. Okay, so these are the major component which needs to be mounted on a hydraulic power pack. So you try to see in conventional way of machining, what we will do. We just a second. Okay, so in conventional way, when we are going for few things I have missed. Let me see. Okay, yes, it is there. So so when we are when we are using your conventional manufacturing processes, what you will do, you will take a metal block and you will machine, you will you will create the holes so that you are able to fit all these components in a metal block. So here you can see this is a metal block which has been machined in such a way that you are able to insert all the components inside this metal block. Okay, So obviously the weight of this component will be the weight including these particular walls and the metal block. Okay, so the if we go through this way, then the approximate weight of your this overall assembly is coming around 4.6 kg. So let us not talk about the benefits and limitations of this block. Okay. So now, because this was the conventional way, and suppose now we want to think additively. We are thinking that instead of assembling this component, these walls on a metal block, let these wall be get printed. Okay, so in that case, what we are doing, we design the component in such a way that the all the three or four components of your hydraulic manifold are printed in one shot using a metal additive manufacturing process. Okay, so here you can see this is the total assembly which has been printed, and your wall has been sorry, it is not completely printed here. Only we have modified your instead of your metal block, we have printed the skeleton, so that you are able to insert your available wall with you in your this skeleton. Okay, so the total weight of your component in this assembly is coming around 1 kg. So previously it was 4.6 kg, now it is 1 kg, and serving the same purpose without any reduction in efficiency. Okay, let us not talk about these things. You will be able to read. Okay. Okay. So now, if you coming to the final step, that is the third step, that we are redesigning. We know our purpose, how our hydraulic manifolds works, and what is the need, what are the uh, work which has to be done by the wall or component which were attached on your hydraulic manifold. So instead of inserting those particular walls, we are directly printing the whole assembly in single piece, and we have redesigned the whole whole component in a single piece. So here you can see your single part is printed in one shot, and you can see the overall the weight of your component in this case is only 0.4 kg. Okay, in this case you can see previous two design were common. What we did, we in first case we have all these components which are mounted in a metal block. In the second case, the mounting, instead of this metal block, we have a uh, printed skeleton in which your these original wall, there was no modification in the design of your wall, and they were mounted on this skeleton. Then in the last, that is the third stage, we redesigned the whole component. We took all the constraint into consideration. What are the what are the inlet requirement and what are the outlet requirement in this particular hydraulic manifold, and we have redesigned the whole component and we have printed in single shot. Okay, so while once we have printed this component in single shot, your product product weight has reduced from 4.6 kg to 0.6 kg. Sorry, 0.4 kg. Okay, so now the you can imagine that from the same material which was 4.6 kg, you will be able to produce, you will be able to print around 10 component instead of one component you are when you are using your printing technology or additive manufacturing technology for producing this kind of components. Okay, so let us move ahead. Okay, so here you can uh, the comparison between these two. This is the first case uh, where we have uh, we have hydraulic manifold which is created by using conventional method. Okay. In second case, what we have done, these items, that the main item, that is the valves, remain the same, and these are mounted on, instead of a metal box, these are mounted on a skeleton which is printed using your additive manufacturing process. So here also, in this case, your total weight has been reduced by instead of 4.68 kg, now the weight was 1 kg. So the overall saving in terms of material, it is around 76.3 kg, 76.3%. Okay, but taking into consideration of working consideration of this particular hydraulic manifold, we have redesigned the whole structure, and we have printed the whole component by using the principle of design for additive manufacturing. So we could see that the printed component is having only weight which is zero point 0.4 kg. So the total saving in the case of your material, when we are taking into consideration the DFAM, this is around 91.2%. Okay. So this is the summary of case study 1. Then let us move another case study, that is case study 2, here, so that you are able to visualize more with more clarity that how this the component which are discussed in your design for additive manufacturing. In the case of metal additive manufacturing, these are used in your real life problem when you want to build any component using additive manufacturing process. Okay, so suppose we have this component in the left side, which is basically used for opening your you can say beer bottle, you can say beer bottle opener. Okay, this is also a case study by the same company, that is Reniso company, and you can see the component which needs to be printed. This is has been shown originally here. Okay, so you can see this is a bottle opener. This may be beer bottle opener or holding soft drink opener. Okay, so in this case, what you need to do, you need to, if you print this component, you want to print this component using using your 3D printing technology or additive manufacturing technology. What you need to do, you want to minimize support for this particular component. Okay, so in order to reduce the support, what you will do, the first optimization is to reduce weight, that is right, resulted in several overhangs. Orange circle, these are the circle which are showing the overhang portion, and these portion will require support. Okay, similarly in this also, these are the portion which will require support, and if you print this component, then these supports will be printed with gray color. These are shown in gray color. Second, in the next step, how you may reorient the component so that the 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 printing of support structure, or the printing of support structure is minimized. So how you can reorient this component? So previously this was in downward direction. Now you take this component, you can see in the left hand side, if you want to print this component like this, there are overhanging portion and support structure needs to be printed. But in the right hand side, you can see you have reoriented the component, and the uh, uh, these overhanging portion are now taken care. They are self supported overhang portion. These are shown by the gray color. Okay, so this way you can minimize the support in the case of your component which you want to print using additive manufacturing process. Okay, so this you can see the these bottle opener which are printed by the company Renishaw company. Their logo is visible, so it is I must acknowledge that this is the work done by this particular company for minimizing the for printing the component without with minimum support. Okay, so here you can see the portion which were overhanging portion. They have been taken care in a self-supported manner. Okay, so this is all from for today. If there is any query, I have not read the some component of this PPT. I will expect that you go through this PPT and uh, you if you come up with queries in the next class, then it will be good. Okay. So for in the last slide, you can see a component, a complex component, and how much care needs to be taken for printing this kind of component. Maybe we may not avoid support structure, but we need to reorient or the orient the component in such a way that the all the uh, items which are discussed under design for additive manufacturing are taken into care. Okay, so this is for all. This is all from my side because this was a lengthy topic, so I moved in a bit fast forward mode. If there are any query, I will be happy to take up. Otherwise, we can stop here.